Introducing your Pittsburgh Penguins Elite.
Squishy Evans, number 1, St. Killian Parish School. Squishy says, no, 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 no. Enza Vickers, number 2, St. Charles.
Linda, number 5, Chartiers Valley. Let's win it, boys.
Grayson Baru, number 14. I go to Elwood City Area School District.
Lennon Bloom, 22, Nature Boy Elementary.
Ooh!
Ryan Schweitzer, number 23, Hayne Elementary School. Bang!
Finn Bowen, number 26, and I go to Eden Hall Upper Elementary. And I got hands.
Austin Kumnick, number 34, Hayne Elementary.
Brady Dixon, 36, Ingamar Elementary School, laying the boom.
I'm Sammy Brushett, number 48, and I go to Hayne Middle School.
Ryan Moore, number 61, Hayne Middle School.
Luca Zacci, number 83, Mars Area Centennial School. And I shoot bombs from the blue line.
Danny Foster, 88, Mercer Elementary School.
This is my house. Nathan Goldberg, 97, Level Green Elementary School. And I hit lasers.
Good morning, Swirly Nation. And welcome to South Bend, Indiana, the University of Notre Dame, for today's game between the Montgomery Blue Devils and your Pittsburgh Penguins Elite. That's right, live from Notre Dame. We're bringing you youth hockey action on the premier place for youth sports, Cinnamon Swirl TV. Welcome to South Bend, folks. We're on the auxiliary rink, an Olympic-sized sheet of ice, as the Pens Kumnick sends one into the net. Your starting lineup for the Penguins. In net number 1, the squish tender, Squishy Evans up front. 22, Landon Bloom. 61, Ryan Lohr. And 26, Finn Bowen, the defense pair. Number 88, Danny Foster. Number 34, Austin Kumnick. Montgomery will work it into the Penguins' end for the first time as the Pens will run a breakout. It's Foster to Lohr. Lower up the right-hand side. He'll battle at center as it's kicked back into the Penguins' end for Foster. Up the wall it comes. It's icing if it's far enough, and it is. So the faceoff will come back to the Penguins' end. Defensive zone draw coming here for the Penguins. I think our stream appears good. Hopefully we'll get you some replay action here today as well. Hopefully you were able to catch some of the highlights from the last few weeks as the puck's played in front of the Penguins' cage. It's gathered in by the Blue Devils, who twist and turn on the outside. A centering feed goes off the stick of a defenseman right to the Grayson Baru. And Baru will come up through center over the red line into the Blue Devil zone for a shot that sails over the cage. It'll be tracked in behind where it's cleared by the Devils up to the wing. Banked off the wall. All the way into the Penguins' end for another icing. This one on the Blue Devils. It's Blue Devils and Penguins live from Notre Dame. What a beautiful facility here, the Compton Family Ice Arena. As I said, we're on the auxiliary rink. Join us all weekend long. We'll get over on the big sheet here later on this week. Or weekend, I should say. A clearing pass by the Montgomery Blue Devils puts it one-on-one with Foster, who defends well all the way to the corner and then gives a bit of a shot up high as Zacci will get to the puck. Picked up by the Devils. Cleared but not out. Shot comes in. Kicked aside by the squish tender. See if we can give you that one on replay. As it's cleared up the wall and out at center, it'll be an offside play. We did a highlight reel. We had 0 goalie saves on there. So trying to get a couple of replays of the goaltenders for you as the weekend progresses. And that's a good first stop by Squish. 12:48 to play in the first period. The scoreboard has an ND and a Shamrock on it, so I'll figure out it was home and away. Looks like the Penguins are going to be home. They're under the ND logo. And the Blue Devils will be the away team. Goldberg working it up the wall. It's possessed in the Penguins' end by Montgomery as they peel off the wall. A centering pass. Around one through, weaving across. Cross ice feed and fighting it off again is the squish tender. And we'll give you that one on replay as well. As the Penguins break out into the Montgomery zone, it's loading it, firing wide of the cage is Goldberg. Cross ice replay, a squish. We'll shrink it up there. As Ryan Schweitzer follows on, he has the puck in the Blue Devils zone. It's slapped at by Zacci. His shot can't get the whole way through. Schweitzer will maintain pressure as the Penguins work in the corner. It's a bit of a tough angle for me to see down in that corner, but we'll call it the best we can from down there as Finn Bowen works it in the opposite corner from us. A much easier vantage point. And the Devils will gain control and come out to center. Over center red into the Penguins zone. A shot off of a stick, tracked and sent in behind the cage where it's picked up by Dixon. Off the wall to Bowen, and he'll advance it further to Schweitzer. Schweitzer swipes it out to center, looking for Lohr. Can't connect there, so it's played back into the Penguins' end for Zacci to try the break out to the opposite side. It's icing if it's far enough, and it is. That one could have been called off with the change at the Blue Devil line, at the Blue Devil bench, but we'll get an icing nonetheless. The faceoff will come back into the Penguin zone. Exactly 11 minutes to play here in the first. Puck swiped out to center by Baru. Picked up there by the Blue Devils. Sent across. Looks like a bunch of you joining us live on Cinnamon Swirl TV. Please subscribe below if you're not already a subscriber. Subscribe below. We appreciate it. We value you as a viewer, and we hope you enjoy the game. For anybody joining us from the greater Maryland area to follow your Montgomery Blue Devils, welcome aboard. Subscribe below. We'll do our best not to be too much of a homer for our Pens lead here as we bring you the live hockey action from the premier youth sports broadcast channel, Cinnamon Swirl TV. It'll be the Blue Devils carrying things through center. Back is Kumnick to defend. That shot hurled up over the cage. Picked up in the corner by Montgomery. Worked a centering feed off of a stick. Nice defensive play there by Kumnick. Another shot fired across the crease. It'll be Kumnick and Schweitzer coming for it on the other side. Schweitzer will get there, working it out to center, looking for the speedy Bloom. It's Schweitzer gaining control at center ice. Weaving into the offensive zone. He'll wind and fire one. It's blocked out front off of a shin. Possession maintained by Lohr as he gets it further for Bloom. Bloom bumped and loses control behind the net, but he'll track the puck all the way to the corner. The Blue Devils will reverse behind their own cage and run the breakout to the opposite side, where it's stymied by Dixon, who sends it back into the Blue Devils zone for Bloom. Bloom tied up a bit behind the cage. Schweitzer follows on. The puck pops free to the center. No one home, and back come the Blue Devils. Stepping up on the play is Goldberg. At the Pens blue line, the puck careens up and over the boards into the bench for a whistle. Face-off to come outside of the Penguins line. It'll be Enzo Vickers leading over the face-off dot. Puck gathered in by Luarchuk. Topped off of his stick, and it'll be the Devils entering the Penguin zone. 0-0 tie here in the first. Around Foster goes one, a cross-ice feed. Unable to get the shot through was the Montgomery Blue Devil wing. A nice setup there. As a Penguin bodied in the corner, the puck will pop free to Goldberg. He's had a hot stick as he'll wind into the Pen zone, but George Luarchuk is about 4 feet off sides there. Our statistician from the corner is telling us 4.5 feet offsides. There is another blue line on the ice. That might have been what he was looking at. As Vickers will take the draw. Whacked at by Zachi. Off of a Blue Devil, right back to Zachi, and popped into the Penguins' end. Foster, first one back to get it. Heads to the corner where Zachi will follow up. Good puck support there by the Penguins' defense. He's able to whack it forward to the wing, looking for Luarchuk. The Devils spin out of trouble. Back to the corner it'll go. Rimmed around the wall. It's Schweitzer getting there. He'll spin away, but unable to get control of the puck. Vickers in after it. I'm sorry, that wasn't Schweitzer, that was Luarchuk. Luarchuk will get to the puck and whack it off the opposite wall, and it'll careen all the way into the Blue Devil zone for another icing here. As we tick inside of 8 minutes to play here in the first period from the University of Notre Dame, home of the Fighting Irish. Landon Bloom to take the D-zone draw. Whacked back to the point by Bowen. Sent in towards the net by the Blue Devil defenseman. That was blocked by the Pens, and they return it right back out to center. Into the Blue Devil zone it goes for Bloom to pressure the puck in behind the cage. He dislodges it all the way to the corner. He'll track it down there. Battle in the corner. Penguins with some support. I believe that's Lohr coming away with it. It is. Swiped off of his stick and tapped out the center by the Blue Devils all the way to the Penguins' end for an icing. This is very fast ice out here. An Olympic sheet, so it is a little bit wider, but even the way the puck slides, this is impressive frozen water here at Notre Dame. Rob Schweitzer says he thinks it's holy water. I love it. 27 of you worldwide subscribers, including hi to Brad Bloom who greeted us on the chat. A shot comes in, kicked out by Squish, gathered in by Montgomery. Weaving high in the zone, back to the point for a slap shot that's off of a skate in front and cleared up but not out by Goldberg. The Devils keep it in. Zachy will try to exit this time, and he'll find Goldberg, who's up the right wing. Now everybody's on sides this time as Goldberg fires one that skips wide of the Blue Devil net, gathered by Dixon at the blue line. He'll send it back towards the cage, blocked by the Devils to the corner, chased by Vickers, and cleared by Montgomery. The Montgomery Blue Devils with a nice outlet pass that comes off the stick of their player at center, and he's going to take the first penalty of the game, a hooking here. Well, we'll call a trip. The trip will be the call. It'll be 34 for Montgomery. Getting a tripperoo. He's unhappy with the call. But it's going to put your Penguins on the Seven Fields Wealth Management power play. Supercharge your investment portfolio just like we supercharge the power play at Seven Fields Wealth Management. Puck played behind the Blue Devil net by the Blue Devils themselves, and the breakout will be cut off as Schweitzer works it to Bloom. Bloom carries behind. He goes heavy off the boards looking for Schweitzer on a reversal. Tapped away from him. Can the Blue Devils get out of their end? They will not be able to. Finn Bowen there to prevent that escape. And the Penguins will get back on the forecheck as it's freed up in front. Landon Bloom will send it back to Foster. Foster will send it back to the corner for Schweitzer, and the Penguins will set things up here on the power play. Schweitzer around a defender, weaving in front, sending it backside, looking for Bloom. It'll come free to Foster. His shot deflects in front, and it's gobbled up by the Blue Devil goaltender. Excellent puck movement there by the Penguins, and a better save by Montgomery's talented masked man. Pens will change the power play unit. It'll be Vickers, Goldberg, Baru, Dixon, and Felino. Everybody on the planet is hoping for a Dino Felino goal. As the Blue Devils come weaving out through center, tripping over the blue line, where the Penguins are able to gather things in and work it wide to Baru, whose pass is deflected, and back come the Blue Devils into the Penguin zone. Winding, firing, and skipping one wide of the Penguins net. It'll be Baru to the puck, and he'll slow things down trying to set it up. He's able to get it to Vickers. Vickers will run with the dump and chase style, getting it to the Blue Devil line, but no further, where it's pursued by Goldberg and sent back the other direction. The Blue Devils into the Penguins' end. A centering feed. Kicks a shot kicked off of a defender and kicked aside by Squish. It's sent all the way up the center, or it's banked off the boards for Goldberg, and Goldberg will gain the Blue Devil line as the penalty expires on 34 for Montgomery. We have an offside whistle at the blue line, so with 4:47 to play here in period one, we still remain tied at 0. Face-off won by the Pens. They'll enter the zone. It's Bowen. Oh, just gets it poked off of his stick. A nice poke check there by the defense of Montgomery. A feed for Zachy. He sends it cross ice back to Bowen. Bowen to the corner. Tapped behind the cage by Montgomery, and they'll try the left side for a breakout. Carrying it up to the blue line and finding a teammate at the Pens line. Winding, weaving, cutting to the inside where he's defended by Schweitzer. It ends up on the stick of Lohr. Lohr overtaken from behind. Bowen will follow on, but Montgomery will maintain possession. Is into the Penguin zone it comes. Kick save and a beauty by Squish, but nobody picked up the rebounder. And driving in and popping in the rebound are the Montgomery Blue Devils. So Squish with the initial stop on the shot, but a little pass off pads there by Montgomery will make it 1-0. With 4:02 to play in the first period, Montgomery strikes first. Now the Penguins are going to try to crawl right back. They're a quick strike team. They often jump right back. This time it'll be Montgomery weaving into the Penguin zone, squaring things up, firing one, and there's Squish to make that save to the corner. Picked up by Luarchuk, unable to clear. Back to the point where a shot's kicked back to the corner by the Squish tender. So Montgomery putting on the Ritz here after an early goal. Weaving to the front, running over the Penguin goaltender. Was a Blue Devil, no call. The Penguins goaltender now without his stick. I mean, somebody's at least got to blow the whistle for a reset there as it's kicked by Montgomery towards the net. I mean, he trucked right into the goalie. That's absurd. It's fine if it's not a penalty, but now the Pens are going to get a penalty. Maybe a pair. Two guys going off, one each, Pen and Blue Devils. It'll be 5-on-5 hockey as we get 2 penalties here. It'll be 34 for the Penguins, Kubnik. And 78, Simpson for Montgomery. Kubnik, I think, got a cross-check. The Montgomery player with a body check. We'll play 5-on-5 hockey with 3:10 to play in the first. Bloom to take the draw. Tied up at the Penguin line, and the Devils will be in onside, but it's gathered by Zachi, who finds Lohr. Lohr up to the line, finding a streaking Schweitzer in the middle. It rolls off the backhand. Gathered in by Montgomery, but pressured immediately by Schweitzer, who takes it right back. Tries for Bloom. It's back to the blue line and just over it to be gathered by Zachi and sent back to the Montgomery line for Lohr. Lohr in, looking, weaving. Kind of pulls the puck back a little bit, lost control for a moment, and it's shot in on net where it's covered. Face-off won by the Pens. Back to Zachi. Shot in. Trickling in front, and it stays out. Somehow. It went off of a body and laid at the side of the crease. Bloom goes crashing in, trying to pop the puck by. But it is covered by Montgomery, and we'll have an offensive zone draw for the Penguins. Pens control in the corner, gathered in by Montgomery. They'll run a break out to the right-hand side. Falling down on the play, but still able to clear it out to center, go the Blue Devils. Dixon will pick things up there and try to pop it into the Blue Devil zone. It's sent right back to the stick of Foster. He'll gain center red, dump it in, and the Penguins will pursue the puck. Couple players fall down in front of the Penguin bench. As they get a line change, the Devils weave into the zone, swiped away by Goldberg, and he and Bloom will enter, and it'll be an offside play. Landon Bloom a step offside at the Montgomery blue line. So we'll reset it, neutral ice. Bloom leans over the dot to take the face-off and wedges it forward. Getting it to the stick of Bowen, who fires a backhander in off the pad. Rebound gathered up by Montgomery and sent back out through center. weaving through the neutral zone where it's poked away by Felino, but followed on by a Devil. Felino again with the defensive play as the Devils try to chip it in behind the Penguins. Felino there a third time. Once, twice, 3 times a lady. Penguins with support along the wall. It'll be Bloom to the corner. Reversing for Lohr. Lohr unable to wedge it past the forward, so we get another half-wall scrum that Lohr wins this time. He'll fire it right to the Blue Devils, and that turnover ends up in the back of the net. A rough pass there. He was trying to send it across. It ended up right on the stick of a Blue Devil who fires one by and makes it 2-0. Goldberg set to take the faceoff. Those are the kind of mistakes that'll make a close game less close. A turnover right in front of the Penguins' cage. Montgomery works it further in as they'll get another scoring chance here. Weaving through, sending it cross ice. Gathered in, no shot gets through as the Penguins will try to defend here. Now will come from behind the net a second time. Defended off well by Foster. It'll be Lowarchuk getting control. He's not overtaken from behind. He's able to fire one across ice to Baru. Ends up on the stick of Goldberg, who fans on a dumping attempt. And the Blue Devils are back to the Penguins line. Foster will win that. Oh, run a little bit of interference. They're going to call interference. That's a tough call. But it's a call nonetheless. With 16 seconds left, Montgomery will go on the power play. They'll win it. Shot short side, fought off by Squish. Face off, or rebound cleared to Goldberg, who sends it back to the point. Shot comes in, deflects off 2 people in on Squish, who puts it to a quarter, and we'll get a horn here to end the first period. A 2-0 Montgomery lead on what was a pretty close back and forth game. Montgomery getting pass off pads for the first goal. And a turnover in front of the Pens net results in the second. The Penguins had a number of scoring chances, though, including a puck that sat right on the side of the crease, was unable to be tapped home. So we'll head to intermission here. Welcome back to Notre Dame. Here on Notre Dame's campus in South Bend, Indiana, it's the Penguins Elite and the Montgomery Blue Devils. Montgomery's going to start here on the power play. They work it to the Penguins' end, but the Pens able to clear. Bouncing puck goes right past the defenseman. It'll be tracked down by Schweitzer, knocking down a Blue Devil on the play. Worked up to the half wall. Bowen will pressure. Schweitzer now as well. Bowen comes away with the puck, goes heavy off the boards. Into the Blue Devil zone where Schweitzer almost popped free. It'll be the Blue Devils headed the other direction though. Around Foligno, weaving to the inside, shooting one up and over the cage. That'll work as a clearing play for the Penguins. 30 seconds left on the penalty kill as the Blue Devils weave back into the Penguins' end. Winding, firing, kick to the corner nicely by Squatch. Wedged on by Foligno, just past the reach of the Penguins forward, gathered in by the Blue Devils, who loft one. A bit of a rainbow to the side of the Penguins' cage where it's picked up on the opposite half wall. Sent back in behind for Schweitzer. A nice tap play there to Kubnik. Kubnik's got Bowen up the wall. He'll hit him, and a bouncing puck will find its way back out to center as the penalty on Foster expires. The Devils are back in the Pens' end, though. Winding a shot that's tracked and held by the squish tender with a nice glove save.
Squishy says, no, 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 no.
D-zone draw for the Penguins. It'll be Bloom to take the faceoff. Gets sent out to the line where it's kicked back in and passed just beside the cage. Rimmed around for Luorchuk. Followed on out the center by Bloom and sent back in on an offside play by Montgomery. Back to 5-on-5 even strength hockey here. From the shadows of Notre Dame Stadium, the Devils weave right into the Penguins zone and fire one that skips wide of the net, gathered in by Montgomery. Another shot, that one tracked high and over the cage as well. Zachy will advance the puck. The Penguins pinned in their end a bit here to start period two. They'll come off the wall, winding one, glove save. Rebound cleared by the Penguins, but no further than the half wall. Shot sent into the middle, blocked by a Penguin. It'll be Lohr getting control. He's hounded immediately. Puck kept in, but finally cleared by Zachy, who carries it through neutral zone with speed. He'll wind, he'll fire. It's a blocker side save and a beauty. Penguins controlling, getting one towards the cage. Nothing gets through, and back come the Blue Devils. Up the right, using a body to protect, weaving it in front. Shoved aside by Squish, and the kid is in on top of the Penguins goalie a second time. And it's the second time he made a power move, which is great. It ends up just trucking the Penguins goaltender. Foster to the corner, getting to the puck and rimming it around for Vickers. It's taken there by Montgomery, and they'll work behind the Penguins' net. Trying to come out from behind the cage. Weaving one way, tossing it back the other. To the blue line it goes, where it's gathered in by Montgomery and rimmed around behind the Penguins' net. Vickers able to get to the puck, but has it taken from him. Now Dixon will follow along, and he'll try to escape the opposite side. There's Goldberg there. He's turned back the other direction as Montgomery just applies pressure all through the start of this second period here. Good heavy back pressure from the Blue Devils to free up that play. It'll be Foster now up to Goldberg. Again, a back check pressure. Gathered in by Montgomery, they go D to D, and they'll try to scoot up ice where it's off of a stick and picked up by Foster. He'll spin it back to Goldberg. Goldberg stopping at the blue line. He'll gain the Montgomery end where it's knocked off of his stick and counterattacked by the boys in blue. Weaving to the inside, defended by Foster. A drop feed up high on Squish, a big save there. Kept in at the blue line by Montgomery, weaving down, glove hand side, and there's another stop by the diminutive Penguin netminder. 10:43 to play. It's been 4 minutes and 15 seconds of heavy Blue Devil pressure here in the second period. Face-off battled for in the Penguin zone. It'll be Bowen spinning away with it. He's able to loft it all the way into the Blue Devil zone. It'll be two Penguins in on the forecheck. Schweitzer and Lohr. It's rimmed around by Montgomery. Lohr with the puck pressure, but Montgomery with a beautiful controlled breakout. To center ice they come. Weaving, looking, firing. Stick on puck there by Foster. Sends the puck flying high into the air to be gathered by Kubnik behind the net. Off of Bowen, who tried to, for Schweitzer, it's banked off of a Blue Devil forward all the way to the Blue Devil zone where Schweitzer's there with the puck pressure. Montgomery with another fantastic breakout pass as they come through center with speed and space. A shot comes in, kicked to the outside by Squish. Battle on the half wall, wedged forward but not out by Baru. Centering pass comes off the backhand of a Montgomery player and carried to the corner where he'll weave and use his body to protect. Knocked off the stick, the puck knocked off his stick by Foligno and picked up by Schweitzer, who finds Baru. Now Schweitzer and Baru at the blue line, able to fire one towards the net that's blocked out front. They'll be gathered behind the Montgomery cage, and they'll run another breakout that's just past the stick of Luarchuk, but gathered in by Vickers at the Penguins' D zone and sent back out to the red line. Montgomery will try to set things up from there, as Vickers will pop it all the way in to the Montgomery end. We hit the 9-minute mark of the second period. The Penguins trying to get their first bit of pressure here in period two. Puck controlled in the corner, worked back to the point for Dixon. His shot comes heavy off of a boot, picked up by Vickers. He'll go back to the blue line where it's lofted to the net on the backhand by Foligno. And two Penguins collide at the blue line. It'll be Montgomery coming away with it. A pass off the boards will put his teammate in on an offside play, and will regroup with a face-off outside of the Penguin blue line. We're coming to you here from the Compton Family Ice Arena in South Bend, Indiana, on the University of Notre Dame campus. This facility sitting just beyond Notre Dame Stadium, home of Notre Dame football. And on the other side of that, touchdown Jesus. As Montgomery weaves into the Penguin zone. It's wedged up, it'll be Bloom. Bloom and Schweitzer in a 2-on-1. Over to Schweitzer. Schweitzer back for Bloom, it's off a skate and skips just wide of the net. It'll be rimmed around by Montgomery all the way to the Penguins end. No icing as it could have been played by the Penguin defenseman Zachi. Foster will get the puck. Montgomery with about 5-6 players on the ice there, but they were in the middle of a change. They'll get away with that one, and Montgomery will play things D to D. Thank you all for joining. 34 of you on the broadcast right now. Good morning and welcome to Cinnamon Swirl TV. Subscribe below. Hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. I know most of you are, as we come to you from all over the globe. I know we are joined every single broadcast from all over, from Canada, even South Korea, a big part, as the Penguins are going to get called for a slash here. It'll be 88 Foster going to the box as they weaved right in front of the Penguins' net. It was kicked out. The Penguins with a little bit of penalty trouble here in this one. We've seen Eric Baru a few times have to jump from his dad's spot into the sin bin. So 7:14 to play in the second. The Pens are going to head to another penalty kill here. Goldberg on the draw, back to the point, winding, firing, and that one skipped just wide of the glove hand side. It'll be off the boards and out to center by the Penguins. No icing as it was deflected at the blue line. Montgomery picks up in their own end, tosses it off the wall to the outside. Pressured by Luarchuk, who's able to keep it in the Montgomery end and take some more time off of this penalty. As Montgomery will get control and center one. 2-on-2 as they come to the middle. A shot skips off of the Penguins defender and wide to the cage to the corner. Foligno will battle there. He's supported well by Vickers, who ends up with the puck and carries it off to the side. Oh, it just rolls off his stick right to a streaking Blue Devil, who'll set things up to the corner, now the half wall. Up to the point. A collision there. Vickers runs into a Blue Devil who ends up with the puck, weaving around behind, coming around in front. Stopped and kicked out by Squish. Puck comes free out to the blue line. Another shot. That one eaten like a cookie by Dino Foligno. Another centering feed. This one right in front. A pass across the ice. Unable to connect. Weaving in the corner of the Blue Devils as they set this power play up. A number of high-level scoring chances. They still have the puck as the time ticks down to 3 seconds left on the penalty. Out goes Foster. Into the play as another shot comes in. Foligno with a block. Now Squish with a glove hand save and a beauty on a puck that looked destined for the corner. And with 5:38 to play, it's Montgomery 2, the Penguins 0, but the Penguins coming off a ferocious penalty kill. Let's see if they can gain a little mo. Dixon off the boards for Bowen, and it's out at the blue line as Bloom eats a puck off of his cage. It'll be Bloom and Baru with Bowen. Zachi and Dixon for the Penguins. Puck knocked free. It'll be Baru picking things up and getting into the Montgomery zone. Right side where he'll tap it in behind for the forechecking Bloom. It's rimmed around by Montgomery. Back to the point, and a breakout pass is connected, but there's a defensive play by Luka Zachi to break things up. It'll be Bowen at center. A 2-on-3 as Bowen fires it in. It's handled by Montgomery's goaltender, who gets the whistle. And the Pens will try to set things up in the Montgomery zone. Schweitzer, Luarchuk, Lure, Foster, Kumnik. The 5 flightless birds. The Blue Devils get control. They go hard off the boards out the center to a Blue Devil flying through the neutral zone. He's defended well by Kumnik. The puck picked up by Foster, rimmed around for Lure. Breakout there, able to connect with Luarchuk, but they can't get it out of the zone. He will the second time, though, as he goes around one. Ends up on the stick of Lure. Now back to Luarchuk, who tosses it into the Montgomery zone, and he'll chase himself. His pressure frees it up for Lure. His pass whacked towards the middle, unable to connect with anybody, and sent back out all the way to the Penguins' end. It will not be an ice. Oh, it will be an ice. A nice slow skate there by Big 88 Foster to earn the icing and bring the faceoff all the way back to the Montgomery zone. You see it there on your screen, the big ND at center ice will tell you we're here at the University of Notre Dame for the Montgomery Blue Devils and your Pittsburgh Penguins elite. Montgomery in blue today with a big M on the sweater, looking a lot like Michigan. Not a popular thing here at Notre Dame. The Penguins in their white uniforms with the reverse retro whites with Pittsburgh. Diagonal across, going from right shoulder to left hip. Black pants, white socks, black and gold striping, and the iconic gold Pens Elite helmets. A battle on the half wall in the Montgomery end. Kicked out into the middle, waved at by Vickers. Baru looking to track things all the way across to the other side as Montgomery breaks things up to the Penguin blue line. Weaving into the Penguin zone. Sending one towards the net. It's taken by Dixon. He tries for a breakout pass. That's off of a skate, and a battle along the wall will get the puck to the stick of Goldberg. Goldberg will tap it by the defense and chase it down. He and Baru crisscrosses. Baru will get to the puck. Stopping, turning, centering one. Unable to get it through was Goldberg, defended off well, tied up in front very legally and aggressively. I love that play by the Montgomery defense. They're able to get control and tap it back out to center for Foligno. Baru was still unable to clear the zone. He's up by that other blue line we talked about. Those are curling lines, folks. So there's like a miniature blue line dashed inside the blue line near the big curling circles. Curling, of course, the national sport of Zimbabwe. A big sport here, apparently, at Notre Dame. A big Zimbabwe contingent here for the Fighting Irish. As Montgomery weaves into the Penguin zone and fires one. I think that went off the chest of Squish to the corner. Kept at the blue line by the Blue Devils. Battled for by Bowen, and now in behind it's Foster, unable to get control, weaving off and going high up over the ear of Squish, just coming off the wall with very little pressure and able to fire one by with 2:38 to play, making it 3-0 Montgomery. Penguins defenseman tied up there a bit, went down, and it freed up the Blue Devil forward to come from the wall the whole way to the middle of the ice. And he's able to go high, short side as Squish hugs that post. He's got to cut off the low part of the shooting zone, and he's able to elevate it up over his head, really. Vickers will take the face-off and win it to Luarchuk as the Penguins try to get one back here and close this gap. Dumped in by Luarchuk. Grayson Baru down to one knee in front of the net. Looked like he was doing some power skating drills. Kumnik breaks it up at the blue line, but Baru was still barely in the zone. Vickers will take the face-off again, this time outside of the Montgomery zone. Montgomery in on an onside play, a clearing attempt right to the stick of a Devil. Shot in, and there's one save. As he weaves through another kick save, and he covers this one. It's whacked free, but the whistle has blown. So we'll get a face-off here in the Penguin zone. It'll be Bloom to take the draw. An offside play at the blue line. Will give us another reset here as we take a look at a few things. Thank you all for joining us here as you're watching Penn's Elite Hockey. Just trying to keep an eye on our feed here. Montgomery walking right down Main Street, blocker side save, rebound popped up and off the crossbar and cleared. Another feed, this time that's disrupted by Bloom, who skips out to center ice. Carrying the puck, he's hounded by 3 Blue Devils. They swarm the puck incredibly well. Heavy, heavy backtrack pressure on every single play. Sign of a well-coached squad. The shot comes in. It's held by Squish on the glove hand side, and he'll freeze for another whistle as we're inside the last minute of play here in the second period. It's 3-0 Montgomery. Vickers to take the draw. It's battled for, and another shot comes in, and it's gloved by the squish tender. Vickers on the draw, taps it backwards, collected in by Montgomery. Battle along the half wall. See who comes away with it. It'll be kicked to the middle where Foster gets the puck. He banks it heavily off the boards for Goldberg. Goldberg coming up that strong right side, but it's turned back over to Montgomery. A shot comes in, and there's the squish tender with another stop. And another hold. No rebound there as they had a crashing Blue Devil headed to the net. Notre Dame's Compton Family Ice Arena, the Olympic sheet here, the auxiliary rink, just past the windows that across from us. So we're bringing you a view from behind the penalty box here. The ND logo upside down from the bleachers part. But if you look straight past that player benches, you'll see some glass windows. Right through there is the main rink at Notre Dame, where later on tonight, the Fighting Irish will take on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Puck skips in front of the Blue Devil net where it's cleared. That horn will tell you it's the end of the second period of play. Here from Notre Dame, we'll take you to an intermission break. All right, everybody, welcome back to Notre Dame. For the third period of action, we'll toss 15 minutes on the clock. It's 3-0 Montgomery here. And you would know it's the third period if I would ever adjust the scoreboard. Shot, a centering pass, cut off by the Pens defenseman. Sent back up to the blue line where it's dumped back in behind the Penguins net. Penguins need to get one early here. Lure banks one off of a Blue Devil. Out to center where protected nicely and sent back up for the Blue Devils as they cut to the outside. Sticked away by Foster. Tied up a bit on the play. A centering feed comes free to Zachy. He'll go around one, but he's pressured again immediately. He's able to wedge it out to center for Bowen along the wall. It's kicked back into the Penguin zone for Foster to pick up as we get a breakout feed to Schweitzer. He taps it looking for Lure. Nobody there but Blue Devils. Cutting to the middle, swiped away by Lure. And sent back out the center. It'll be just past Luarchuk, but he's in an onside play. He's got Schweitzer driving the backside. He'll wind, he'll fire. And then it went off the stick and just off the blocker and ends up on the back of the cage. I thought that was going to kind of weirdly loft over something and get in, but it did weirdly loft over just a bit too far, and it came down on the back of the cage. where a whistle will blow and we'll get an offensive zone draw. It'll be Goldberg leaning in. Swiping it towards Baru, doing a good job with the stick lift to get control. Working it back to the point for a shot from Foligno that careens wide. Lewarchuk will track it down. He's hooked on the play. The Pens are going to head to a power play here unless they can score. Centering feed right to Goldberg, and his shot blocked. Now it's Baru. Baru back to the point for Foligno. The Penguins with the extra attacker. It's off of a stick of a Blue Devil, and it'll be gathered in where we will get the whistle and the penalty call. Your Pens are going to head back to the Seven Fields Wealth Management power play here. Remember, subscribe. Also find us, citytv.com. That's www.citytv.com. I'll even toss a little link up here for you, folks. Click on that. You can find us there. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I try to get all the events on Facebook. Let us know you're going to tune in. You can find us at City TV on Facebook. And when you see the game, click Going. There's always a link in there for you to find your favorite Pens Elite action. As the Pens try to work in the offensive zone here, it's Foligno rimming it around to the corner. Penguins battling there. It'll come up the half wall where it's turned back by Lewarchuk. To the corner it goes, looking for Baru. It'll skip all the way behind the net, though. Goldberg on the pressure as the Blue Devils are able to clear it out the center for Foligno. Foligno gathers in a bouncing puck, and they'll play dump and chase. The chaser hunting the puck is 97 Goldberg. Forces it to the outside. Penguins with some fresh legs as it'll be shot all the way down past the Penguin defense, so no icing. 20 seconds left on the power play here for the Penguins. Kumnik up to Lohr. Lohr stopping and twisting at center, getting it to Bloom. Bloom will carry it the right wing corner. Weaving around behind. Trying to center one. It's off the side of the cage. Will be picked up by Schweitzer. He'll reverse back the other way. Penalty over for Montgomery as the Penguins set things up behind the Montgomery net. It's kicked out front. Popping free is Bloom and swiping at it, Schweitzer, but able to get the cover is the Blue Devil goaltender. And we'll get a whistle. An offensive zone draw coming for the Penguins. Welcome, everybody, as we bring you these games. It'll be a 5-game weekend. A game later on this afternoon will be at the Ice Box. It's the only game not here at the Compton Family Ice Arena for the Pens Elite. So the Ice Box later on this afternoon, I believe that game is 2 o'clock. So join us on Cinnamon Swirl TV, 2 o'clock, as the Penguins take on the St. Louis Knights in that one. Hopefully the Wi-Fi and reception is just as good as here on the campus of Notre Dame. Penguins are offside at the blue line. Then tomorrow morning we'll kick things off, actually early afternoon at 12:30 tilt, back here at Compton Ice Arena. And that will be against our good friends from Honey Baked. Not the exact same Honey Baked team we played the last time. They've got two pretty equal teams, so it should be another hard-fought, excellent battle with Honey Baked, just like you saw last weekend for this team. A 3-1 Pens win in that one. Goldberg takes control, weaves into the offensive zone. He's knocked off balance, but he'll leave it for Baru. Then tomorrow evening, a 5-10 matchup with CompuWare. And then there'll be another one Sunday morning. We'll get that up there as well. As into the zone come the Blue Devils. A shot comes off, squish, rebound sent careening wide of the Penguins' net. On the first scoring chance of the third here for the Blue Devils as they get a centering feed that's chipped up and over the cage. Battle along the side of the net. It's on the back of the cage where we'll get a whistle. I think that other rebound may have gone off the shoulder of Squish and found that dented part of the back of the net, and they were unable to pop it off. CineTV.com, CineTV.com, as well as on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we've got it. You can also send us your highlights, kids. If you got mom and dad's cell phone footage, we'll put out a Cine TV Play of the Week. Last week it was the Dangle Snipe and Selly by Cruz Armstrong in a 1-0 2010 matchup. But no matter what your team is, a shot this time off the ear of Squish on the backhand as he went down to block that one as it's possessed by Montgomery. Highlights at CityTV.com. Highlights at CityTV.com. Send us your videos, and we'll get those figured out. Here's Luca Zacci on a 2-on-1. Sends it cross. He's looking for Bowen. It's just past his reach, but he'll pick it up in the corner. It's gathered back by Montgomery, and they'll gain center red and dump it in behind. Dixon gets the puck up off the boards for Lohr. Gathered by the Blue Devils, and they'll gain the Penguin zone on an offside play. And they'll shoot one in on the Penguins' net. That's a little unnecessary. Well after the whistle. Penguins with a draw at their own blue line. It'll end up being controlled by Montgomery. Weaving in, cutting to the middle, firing one, and that goes off a corner and into the net. So Montgomery makes it 4-0 here with a missile off literally hit where the net comes together and finds its way into the cage on the glove hand side. Montgomery picks the puck up, banks it behind their own net. As Foligno gathers things in, weaves behind for Kubnik. Tapped out to the outside for Goldberg. Montgomery will set things up as it comes off Foligno's stick to the opposite corner. From this angle, it looked like it might have been headed in on net. Vickers unable to get control. A wrap around attempt as they peel out and doing a great job fighting it off as he kind of possessed that as he came on the wraparound and tried to go to the opposite corner. That goes high off the blocker of the Squish tender. But Montgomery back in action behind the Penguins cage where Blue Devils knocked down by Kubnik gets control. Able to work it to Goldberg, and we'll have an offside play at the blue line. Penguins need to pick up the speed here a little bit. Early mornings from a frosty South Bend, Indiana. Puck won by Bloom, lofted out the center on a Murphy dump by Foster, gathered in by Montgomery. They'll work it to Zacci. Zacci sending it cross ice for Bowen. Bowen one-handing it on a backhand deep into the Montgomery end before it's gathered and sent back out the center and tossed back in the zone on an offside play. Exactly 8 minutes to play here in the third. It's Montgomery 4 and the Pens 0. All of you out there who hear my voice, click subscribe. Click subscribe below. It's Foster up for Bloom. He gets free. He centers or tosses it across to Schweitzer. He'll look to fire one, and it's to the logo of the goaltender who snuffs out any rebound. A nice play there as Foster and Bloom play catch. Bloom went to the net to set a screen. The Foster shot, or the Schweitzer shot comes in. Enzo Vickers set to take the faceoff. Face-off won by Montgomery, and they'll bust out through center, and he's going to get free. It's going to be a breakaway from the blue line in. Cutting forehand, or backhand to forehand and pulling it around Squish on a player just flat out streaked down the ice. Splitting the Penguins' defense and going in on a breakaway. Back in comes Montgomery, weaving around one, cutting back to the middle. Squish there to make that save as it's wedged out by Luarchuk and sent up for Vickers. Up to the Montgomery line where the Pens will be offside. It'll be Foster getting to the puck. He'll dump it into the right wing corner. Battling there, the Penguins and Blue Devils. Can the Penguins get something here? Schweitzer gets it, centers the Lure. It's off Lure's stick behind the cage. It'll be Bowen. Taken immediately from him and stopping and starting are the Blue Devils, finding some space on a rim around play. And another breakout pass. This one bounces between the legs. It'll be gathered by Foster, who goes heavy off the glass right to Schweitzer. Schweitzer tapping it for Bowen. Bowen joined by Kumnik as he backs into the zone. Kumnik left side. Fires it behind for Schweitzer. Centering feed right there's Lure, who sends one just wide of the cage. A nice play there on a bit of a rimmed play. It'll be Schweitzer again to Lure. That one off of his backhand to the half wall. Cleared up and out by Montgomery. It is icing if it's far enough, and it is. As we get to the 5:30 mark here of the third period. Best Penguin scoring chance right there. A shot by Lure that just misses the post. It'll be an offensive zone face-off for Vickers. Cleared out by Montgomery, and they'll carry things to the red line for a dump and chase here. Tracked to the corner. Wheeling off, coming to the inside. There's Blue Devils everywhere, and they're unable to get the shot through. It's lofted out to center by Goldberg. Pressured by Luarchuk. His pressure forces a turnover to Vickers. They were onside coming across the blue line. But it's sent back for Foligno. He tries for Luarchuk. That's picked off. Weaving in come the Blue Devils. A shot comes in. That's kicked out by the Squish tender with the right pad. It'll be Foligno with the puck. Up to Luarchuk. Centering feed looking for Goldberg. He was manned up well, and back come the Blue Devils. Broken up there by the Penguins. It'll be Goldberg to the puck. A centering pass attempt is deflected to the corner. He was looking for Luarchuk in front. Great communication there by Luarchuk to let him know he was wide open. Red line and dumping it in off the pad of Squish, who sets it up for Foligno. Foligno to Goldberg. Goldberg unable to get control. It'll go the whole way to the Blue Devil zone. Picked up in the corner by Montgomery, pressured by Bloom. Bloom twists and turns him the other direction. Schweitzer will give some support. A nice breakout, though, by Montgomery, and they'll get the puck and weave out through center ice into the Penguin zone. The most recent Blue Devil goal scorer on the breakaway gets the puck. Now Schweitzer will find Bloom, and Schweitzer's driving the net. Luarchuk filling in the high slot. Leaving it behind for Schweitzer was Bloom. It swiped off his stick and carried back out to neutral ice. An onside play at the Penguin line as the Devils will toss it behind for Zachi. He uses those silky mitts to stick handle around a forward and carry it all the way to center. Weaving to the Blue Devil zone where it's taken by Bloom, but sent back out to center for the Penguins forward. Lewarchuk covering for the D. An offside play, and we'll reset here outside of the Blue Devil zone. Thank you for joining us here on Cinnamon Swirl TV. Home of the Pens Elite. Remember, click subscribe below. Subscribe below. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you getting up this morning and joining us. Can't wait to bring you the rest of these games here from the CCM Notre Dame shootout. An excellent event here, put on campus at the University of Notre Dame. Breakout through center for the Blue Devils. In over the line, winding, firing. Kicked away by Squish. He'll get to that rebound as well before being yanked out of the net by a stick. A centering pass broken up by Baru and gathered in by Goldberg. Goldberg will get it all the way to the corner. And the Blue Devils will break out through center. It'll be Kubnik stopping that at the Penguins line. He wedges it up the wall. Nothing but blue jerseys there. And back come the Blue Devils. Kubnik will reverse this time. Oh, he'll lose control, but it's able to still get it out to center before the Blue Devils will regroup and regain the Penguins' end. Jumping into the corner, stopping, pulling up, looking to center one. Fought off by Lewarchuk, followed on by Kubnik. He can't get control. A shot up high, comes off Squish. Gathered in by Goldberg, who's able to clear it all the way down for an icing. It'll be Vickers to take the defensive zone face-off here. Won by Montgomery, right out in front, a back feed right to a Blue Devil player who, I mean, I don't know if that was a set play, but that was a tic-tac-toe passing there. An excellent job by Montgomery. And they had two players free out in front. And they played pass back and forth for a backhander. And I think that's going to end the game here, as they're going to decide to run the rest of the time off. And we'll get handshakes here. Thanks for joining us. Come back this afternoon, as we'll bring you the rest.